How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to On The Ball. A day late, but we're here for Review the Prem as me and my brother go head-to-head in predicting the Premier League outcomes. Before this game week, it was 83 to myself, 70 to Sim, and it's 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result. Star man, once you pick that man, you cannot pick them again for the rest of the season. 5 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist. And let's start off at the Amex as Brighton beat Leeds by 3-0. Sim went for 3-1. I went for 2-1. But it was 3-0, so we both get a point each on this one. Diego Gomez getting 2 goals in this game. Did you know Diego Gomez in all competitions has scored the most in the top flight after Haaland?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, because he got a hat-trick in the
4
League
goals
Cup,
in that
didn't
game.
he? Or League Cup.
4 that day he scored.
So, wow. He's a good player. I've been watching him for Brighton. I've been very impressed with his ability. I think his striking ability. He's got a rocket of a shot on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but brilliant game for Brighton. I think the talking point here, Welbeck got a goal, and there's talk of him being in England contention. Apparently, he's considering.
I feel like he goes through this run every year, and every year we have this conversation.
He does. It always seems to be first half of the season. Always seems to be very early on. He always has a really strong start to the season, and then he'll get injured and then fall by the wayside. But he's again in great form. He's the top goal-scoring Englishman in the Premier League.
Incredible. Mad.
Oh, I think striker anyway.
You think about it, how many English strikers are there actually in the Premier League?
Yeah, because apart from Kane, I mean, in general.
No, I'm saying in the Premier League, who's English and a striker? There's him and Calvert-Lewin. Like, who else is there?
And Watkins.
Watkins, yeah.
Yeah, Tony's obviously left. Yeah, not many. So, Welbeck. Apparently, according to Sky Sports, Tuchel is really considering calling him up. Do you reckon he's got a shout? I guess he has a shout of being in the World Cup squad.
I think he deserves it more than Watkins at this moment in time.
If he can continue his form, he's got a shout. He's one of those players that, like, physically, he's always a handful. The big thing with Welbeck's always been staying fit and always been as well in front of goal. He's very hit and miss, but he always is whatever game you watch him in, he's always like there. You know, you always notice him. He's always a handful. He's always given the defenders trouble. So if he keeps scoring goals, I think he's actually got, amazingly, at 34 years of age, he's got a chance of being in that World Cup squad, incredibly.
Yeah, look, he had his best season of his career last season, 10 goals for Brighton. This year, he's already got 6, and we're not even halfway through the season yet. So,
and he started the season injured, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. So, look, massive credit to Danny Welbeck. Like, if you're thinking about that World Cup squad, you want to take 3 strikers, probably? So you'd say Kane is obviously the dead cert there. It depends how Ollie Watkins does from now until the end of the season, but he hasn't been a great start for him. Ivan Toney, I don't know what he's doing out in Saudi, but he's in Saudi is even part of the question. So Danny Welbeck has to be in contention for it, for sure.
Obviously, the lap needs to really improve.
Yeah.
He's obviously going to be there, but it's big. Well, I think it goes to show when Kane does go, whenever that may be, we are in a bit of trouble, England.
You got Diamond Dane right there.
Dane Scarlett, yeah, exactly. He's going to fill the boots. But yeah, I think that's a serious conversation that needs to be had when it comes to England, because where are our strikers?
Yeah. I think that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, it doesn't seem in good nick, to be honest, where it did look like a year ago. You're thinking, wow, Ollie Watkins in the form of his life, Ivan Toney ripping it up for Brentford, and Harry Kane doing Harry Kane things. So it looked like in really good hands not so long ago. And now it's looking a bit dire straits.
Just quick on Leeds. 3 losses in their past 4 games.
Yeah.
16th, 4 points now away from West Ham. In the drop zone. After it looked like they were dragging themselves away from that with a good start, they're in danger of dragging themselves back in it. I guess they always are.
Yeah, look, they are. They are in danger of it, because on the other side of that, which we'll get into in a bit, West Ham got that win at home to Newcastle with Nuno. It looks like they could potentially be turning a corner, and Wolves have obviously sacked their manager as well. So you never know what can happen in that situation. So it's all open, massively open.
Yeah.
But, look, Brighton, very up and down, but good win for them, 3-0. Easy does it on the weekend. And we move on to Burnley against Arsenal, which finished 2-0 to Arsenal on the day. Sim went for 3-0. I went for 2-0. So I get a 5-pointer. Sim gets a 1-pointer. And it literally played out exactly as I said it. I said deadlock will be broken from a set piece. Deadlock was broken from a set piece, and they'll get another goal to seal it off. I didn't predict that it would all happen in the first half, But that's the way it panned out. I don't understand how this game was 2-0 at half-time. Arsenal were absolutely battering them, and it only finished 2-0.
Well, it's a mystery that's cost me 4 points, but it's what it is.
When I saw 2-0 at half-time, I was like, I didn't even think you were going to get the 5 points because I thought it was going to be like 4 or 5.
Yeah, no, they Arsenal sharp shop in that second half. They just keeping that clean sheet record. At the time of recording, obviously, last night in the Champions League, they beat Slavia Prague 3-0. So I think it's now 8 games in all competitions without conceding a goal.
Yeah, the last goal they conceded was at Newcastle, so that's 8 games ago.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they are so geared and so set up. I mean, to not concede goals, they're just so strong all over the pitch. And you got to say, they're winning games comfortably. They're controlling games, and teams can barely get a shot on target, let alone a goal at the moment against them. And worrying times for all rivals right now. Watching Arsenal, I'd have to say, because if you're not conceding the goal and you've got the attacking talent they have, and especially the set piece quality they have, I mean, nothing seems to be stopping them at the moment.
It's true, but I mean, in terms of the Premier League, they've scored the lowest percentage of their goals from open play. I think 28% or something of their goals are coming from open play. Is there a fear for Arsenal that, you know, these set-piece goals can dry up and that will start to hurt them? Because that happened last season at a point where they were scoring a lot of set-piece goals first half of the season. Teams kind of cottoned on to how they were doing their set-pieces, and then it kind of dried up for a little bit, and the kind of wins dried up as well.
Even in the Champions League, their first goal, it was a penalty, but it came from a corner, which was flicked on. So I think, when was the last time their opening goal wasn't a corner?
I don't remember. It seems every single game. Every single game.
But look, as long as there is probably a fear of it, but at the moment, it just seems to be happening every game. There's nothing stopping it. The thing is with Arsenal is they got great delivery with Rice and Saka, and they do probably have the most physical players in the league. When you look at every single player in that team, I can't think of a player who's not really physical. Maybe Odegaard might be the one, but even for a 10, he's quite physical. Like when you're comparing him to other players in that position. So I'm looking at their team, like every player in that box is an absolute beast. And that's hard to defend against. And you're going to naturally get more opportunities. I think they've obviously really upgraded the squad from last season. And I think they're on their way at the moment to beating that Chelsea record. I mean, it's scary times. 3 goals conceded.
I don't think they'll beat the Chelsea record. And I think that, like, I get what you're saying, and they've been brilliant at it so far this season. But at some point, like, you know, you get unlucky in a few games and the delivery is just not on point in a game, and the first set piece doesn't go in. Are they going to win that game?
That's one game you're talking about.
Yeah, but it could happen on a multitude of games.
Will it happen in enough games?
I don't know.
That's the thing. That's
because that's exactly what happened last season.
Last season, yes, but last season they didn't have a good a squad as they do this season.
No, but they still had aggressive players and more than enough aggressive players to keep winning these set pieces and to score from these set pieces.
They have a better squad. They're in a better way than their rivals at the moment. Honestly, unless something ridiculous happens, they're unstoppable at the moment, it seems. I think that defensive kind of base that Arteta's got them at the moment, it's because people like to paint Arsenal with the brush of they're just a defensive team corners, and that is, like, on the face of it what is true, but the reality is they do control games. They're not just sitting back all the time. When you're that controlled and then you're not conceding any chances on the counter or anything, like, how are you ever going to stop them? It's scary times. I'm telling you, it's scary times at the moment.
Yeah, but they are controlling games, but they're not like hurting the opposition from open play. It is basically set piece. Like Saka, he's going under the radar for having a bit of a stinker this year. He's only got 2 goals so far this season. Martinelli on the other side, I know he's done very well in the Champions League. He's only scored 1 goal this season. Like, it genuinely is, they're only breaking the deadlock just through set pieces. So is that sustainable?
It's not, but I don't know if it's sustainable. I would say previous years, I would say no. This year seems to be a bit different. I don't know. This year there seems to be a bit of a change. I would like to think, for the sake of football, not just because I hate Arsenal, but in terms of winning a Premier League in the way they're winning it.
It's only 10 games in.
I understand that. I'm just saying, winning a Premier League in the way they're currently winning it at the moment, I want to say, for the sake of football, I don't want to see them do that if I put my issues on Arsenal to one side, just purely on the football, I don't want to see a team winning a league scoring corners. I don't want to see that, right? Because I think that's bad for football. I think it's not interesting, it's not exciting, it's quite boring. But I can't sit here and say right now they won't do it, because right now they look like there is a good chance that this might be the year that they actually do something like that. And I think in previous years I would say the goals are going to dry up, but right now I can't say that for sure, because every team in the Premier League seems to be focusing on it. It seems to be a bit of a change this year.
Yeah.
19%. Apparently the previous highest ever percentage of set-piece goals in the Premier League has been 14, and we're already at 19 after 10 games.
Look, the reality is you've got to give Arsenal a lot of credit with the way they've handled themselves so far this season. They do look kind of impenetrable at the back. Like, you just can barely get a shot against them, never mind a goal.
Their depth in the back is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They could have 4 defenders injured, and they could have 4 come in just as good. It's crazy.
Can they have 4 come in just as good? Like, if Gabriel and Saliba get injured, can they bring in just as good defenders as them?
Okay, maybe not score only, maybe because Saliba's the best, but you know, their understudy backline, Hincapié, like Calafiori, Mosquera.
Well, Calafiori's starting every game.
Skelly. It's ridiculous. I mean, you say that. Who is starting? It doesn't, like, there is no set starter.
Well, there is. In the Premier League, their starters have been Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba.
You've got Lewis Skelly, you've got Hincapié, you've got Ben White. It's ridiculous. Timber. It's ridiculous, their depth.
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Mosquera's come in and done brilliantly as well. Like, I'm just saying, they could lose their back four, and I think their defence probably doesn't get hit by that much. Like, they lost Saliba for a few games. You didn't even notice. No one even spoke about it.
I think it will hurt them a lot more if Gabriel actually is out injured, because I think as well from the offensive set pieces, he's so important to it.
Yeah, they're bringing in Hincapié.
Yeah.
He's also very good going forward. Like,
he is, but
ridiculous.
We haven't seen him have the same impact because he hasn't played as much as Gabriel. Like, Gabriel is just a monster from those attacking set pieces. Like, any set piece they have, they aim for him. He's their go-to man, isn't he?
My point is, like, their backup 4 defenders probably start for most other teams.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, I mean, the squad they've built is scary. It really is scary. But I feel like with the attacking talent that they have, they should be doing a lot more from open play.
I think Arteta would argue they're doing just fine.
They are doing just fine. They're 6 points clear at the top of the league, 10 games gone. So I think, look, they are heavy favourites to win this title right now. They are heavy favourites.
As long as they keep defending like they are, they're not going. It's not like they're going to just draw every game 0-0. They're going to score most games, so they'll be fine if they keep defending like they are.
Yeah, it looks like for all intensive purposes, everyone's crowning them league champions already.
It's true. After, I think everyone senses it's their year. Let's hope something drastic happens.
Yeah, like 10 games ago, everyone sensed it was Liverpool's year. So, I mean, things can change very quickly in football. So it's only 10 games gone. But look, I do think they're going to win the league. I think it's looking very much like they are going to win the league. But I would say it's only 10 games gone and a lot can happen.
It's true. It's very premature, but I think sometimes you can just see it. But yeah, it is very premature.
Like, sometimes you can see, like, Man City have been you look like they're nowhere near going to be champions this year, and suddenly they just click into gear and, like, they just win every game for the second half of the season. This is the first 10 games. Like, we've seen teams be unbelievable in the first 10, 15 games before and not win the league title.
It's true.
So, I mean, this is... I know this might be something new because, like, the amount of goals they're conceding, the amount of chances they're conceding, they look incredible. Don't get me wrong, they look incredible.
I just don't see a weakness.
Yeah, it's hard to see a weakness. But injuries starting to build up. Gyökeres is out injured. They don't have a recognised striker in the team.
They played Marino up front yesterday. He got a brace.
Yeah, he did. It was a dodgy keeper, though, in goal. But yeah, Marino's a good player. Every time he plays up front, he does seem to score, to be fair to him. He should start ahead of Gyökeres up front.
At the moment. Yeah, obviously Havertz coming back as well. I mean, they seem to be much more injury-proof than they were in previous years.
Yeah. All right, we'll see what happens. But look, like I said, at this moment in time, it does look like they are going to walk this league. But it's a long way to go. Next up, we're going to go to Crystal Palace. Palace 2, Brentford 0. Both of us went for 2-1. Another good win for Palace at Selhurst Park. Brentford, you know, they had a good feeling about them. A couple of really good results for them. But they couldn't hurt this Palace team.
No, good win. Palace have obviously a great record at Selhurst Park. They're unbeaten there, aren't they? Are they unbeaten? Yeah, well,
yeah, they've lost one game this season, haven't they?
2 wins, 3 draws. They've lost 2 games in the Premier League. They're sitting 9th. But obviously, good win. Mateta, good form. He's continuing. Good goal for him. Yeah, Brentford. Look, it's a defeat, but they won the previous 2 games, so it is what it is with them. They know they're not going to be winning every game, so they were never likely to go and win this game. The only disappointing thing is they scored from a long throw last week and they conceded from one this week.
Yeah, but look, great season so far for Crystal Palace. They're really clicking into gear, and I felt like last couple of years they've had such poor starts to the season. They're always like playing catch up. Now they've had a really strong start to the season, and you know they could very much finish in the kind of Europa League spots this year.
I think the build-up of games is gonna hamper them too much.
Could do,
because the Conference League, they already lost a game in the Conference League not so long ago, and you've seen their schedule coming up is ridiculous.
Is it? I haven't seen it.
So not in terms of difficulty, but in terms of so they got because they went through the Carabao. They've got a game on the Sunday. They then play Arsenal on the Tuesday. Then the Europa League game on the Thursday.
Yeah.
And then another game on the Sunday.
Yeah, that's like in the latter stage of December, isn't it?
Yeah. That's coming up. And they really don't have the squad to cope with all of that, unfortunately, as much as they're doing really well. I think it's going to catch up with them unless they spend some money in January. Like, their squad is very thin. They've got a very good starting 11, but I think they're struggling already to cope with both. Like they can't really play well in midweek and the weekend. It's like kind of one or the other. So I think they're doing well at the moment, and they've had a great start, but it might catch up with them.
I think we play them. In that little run that they have. Yeah, so we play them just after they play Arsenal in the Cup. So it's good. We go to Selhurst Park then. So
Sunday,
probably not a better time to go to Selhurst Park, to be honest. Let's move on to Fulham 3, Wolves 0. An important 3 points for Fulham down at the bottom. We went for 1-0, which seemed to spell the end of the Wolves manager's tenure. Pereira's his name?
Vitor Pereira.
Pereira. Look, I think he should have been sacked a few weeks ago, to be honest. It's been an absolute disaster.
They gave him a new contract a few weeks ago.
I know, crazy. Absolute disaster class for Wolves this season. But I think this is exactly what they needed to give them a bit of a kickstart to their season, a bit of a fresh change, fresh ideas, fresh approach from a new manager. We don't know who that manager is going to be just yet. But in terms of Fulham, they were languishing down in 17th or 16th before this game. They just needed the 3 points and they got it quite easily.
Game obviously massive.
Ryan Sessegnon, by the way, golden assist.
Yeah, he's having a great season, isn't he? He's one of the shining lights of Fulham, who've having a very difficult season. Game obviously turned for the worst Wolves when they went down to 10 men, and then after that it was plain sailing for Fulham, although they were already 1-0 up before that.
How can you get a red card, man, on the half an hour mark when you're like at the bottom with 2 points from 9 games, man? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Wolves team, I mean, they're now 8 points away from 17, so that gap is really widening down the bottom. So that's got to be obviously a massive concern. That's why the manager's lost his job. I did read a report. Apparently, he had a clause in his contract that they could sack him without having a full payout in the new contract. So I guess that makes sense. I don't know why give him a new contract, though. Didn't really make sense on that front. But anyway, they did approach Gary O'Neill, who turned down the job, which is mad because 11 months ago they sacked Gary O'Neill because he had one of their worst win percentages and hired Vitor Pereira. And then they've gone back to Gary O'Neill in a bid to keep them up, which seems like that tells me that's a hierarchy who's completely lost for me.
There's only one man for the job. There is only one man for the job. Get Big Sam in till the end of the season. A big return for Big Sam. Who else? Who else is going to take that job?
I don't know. When you're pretty much guaranteed to go down, aren't you, at this point?
Look, it's only 10 games gone. Like just one. Is a lot. I know it's a lot, but like one good run of form. Like you look at the other teams like Leeds, Burnley. You know, it's not like they're going to be winning every week. So if you put a good run of form together, you can make up the difference pretty quickly.
Fair, it's true. Look, it's not guaranteed. I guess that's a bit harsh, but you know, at the moment, after 10 games, they're the first team in Premier League history to have 0 wins after 10 games in 2 consecutive seasons.
Wow.
So Gary O'Neill did it last, because obviously the reason why that sags this is because if you usually start the season with 10 games out of win, you usually go down. So I guess they're the only team to stay up, I guess, from another point without winning a game the first 10 games. But they want to appoint the only other manager who had no wins after 10 games, which was Gary O'Neill. So that seems a bit ridiculous. Is Lopetegui still available? Maybe get him back. I'll if I'm Wolves and Lopetegui's open to it, grab it with both hands.
They should have sacked their manager a few weeks ago and got Nuno back.
Nuno, yeah. They missed an opportunity, but with Gary O'Neill already turning it down, I don't know what they do from that point, because if he's turning it down, I don't know where they go from there.
Big Sam is the only option.
Tony Pulis? It seems like a Pulis kind of Premier League at the moment.
Pardew, someone like that. Who knows, mate? They need a firefighter.
They seem to be loving life doing adverts for Sky Sports. I don't know if they're bothered at the moment getting back into the game.
Oh, mate. It's not good for Wolves, man. It's not good at all. It does look like they're one of the certainties to go down, but like I said with the Arsenal thing, you never know what can happen. It's still so early on in the season, only 10 games gone. Let's move on to Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. They were going for 4 in a row. It wasn't to be in this one. It finished 2-2. Sim went for 2-1 to United. I went for 1-1, so I get a point in this one. I actually thought United were probably good value for the win here, to be honest. I thought they played well.
Just got hit with 2 goals in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it was Dyche's first home game, wasn't it, in the Premier League? And the fans were up for it. It looked like a really good feeling around the place at Forest, and they got some good goals, and they might have gone on and won the game, but I think it would have been unjust for Manchester United, because I think Man United played pretty well and deserved the win, to be honest.
If Dyche doesn't win any of his next 3 Premier League games, is he facing the sack?
Maybe.
Because he's already on 2. Ange went after 5 Premier League games without a win. I guess you can also...
Yeah, but Dyche won his first game, didn't he?
He went in the Europa League.
Oh, was it Europa League? Yeah,
in the Europa League. He hasn't won a Premier League game. They have Leeds next, I think, at home. Then Liverpool away. And then Brighton at home.
He's played hard games, though, like a resurgent Manchester United at home and Bournemouth away, who Bournemouth are playing unbelievable at the moment. So I don't think you can really compare it to Ange at this stage. Ange was losing to the likes of Burnley and...
Okay, but of his 5 games, 3 of them were Chelsea at home, Arsenal away and Newcastle away.
Yeah, but he also lost to Sunderland and Burnley.
He didn't lose to Burnley.
Okay, he drew to Burnley, which is bad enough.
I mean, it's, Burnley not.
And he got knocked out of the cup after 2-0 up at
Sunderland a good team.
Sunderland are a good team,
They've been doing well. So it's not like it's an absolute embarrassment to lose that game.
But he also got knocked out to the cup 2-0 up against Swansea, losing 3-2.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think it's too comparable, to be honest.
It could be if he doesn't win the next 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the next 3, he's got to go...
It's Leeds, Liverpool, Brighton.
He's got to win that Leeds game. 100% he's got to win that Leeds game.
But I mean, and we're not seriously saying he's facing the sack, though, are we?
If he loses to Leeds, he's done.
He's done. He's finished. I'd agree with you in terms of, I thought first half United better team. Second half they had that little spell. Forest. I think it was quite an even game. Second half, Forest obviously got those 2 goals. Then United got back into it, and I think either team could have won it. I think probably United looked like they were going to win it near late on, and Ahmad had a shot cleared off the line. What a goal by Ahmad, by the way. There is a theory around some United fans at the moment that United Strand's hair is putting undue pressure on the United team to win 5 in a row.
I saw this. It's such bollocks, man.
Because there's been a fairly negative response to the draw. But in reality, they're still in good form, United. 1-3 and drawn 1 of the last 4 games. But because it set the dial back to 0 for the guys.
Yeah, and everyone's talking about 5 in a row.
And now we're talking about 5 in a row. It's almost like people are thinking it's out back to 0 rather than, okay, well, I'm beaten in 4. We've won 3. We've drawn 1. So it's putting undue pressure on this United team. And it's causing negative feeling around what could have been perceived as a decent result.
It's such a stupid narrative, man. It really is so stupid. Like, can't just people take on face value on what Manchester United are doing? And Ruben Amorim, you got to give him credit, because everyone was saying he's a dead man walking. Everyone was calling him a fraud, and now in his last 4 games he's won 3 and drawn 1. And look, he probably expected to go to Nottingham Forest and win, but look, going to Forest is not an easy game. It's not an easy game at all, even though they've been shocking this season. Like, I think you've got to give Manchester United credit with the way they're handling themselves right now.
I'm saying, but are they not getting the credit because it sets the dial back down to 0 for the guy's hair?
I don't know. I think they are getting the credit, to be honest.
I'm saying some United fans that weren't happy with the draw. Maybe they could have been more content if this guy hadn't had his hair problem.
I don't know, man.
They would have been more content with the draw.
I think they're not happy with the draw because Forest have been poor this season and they expected to go there and win. I don't think it's because of 5 games in a row and all that kind of stuff.
Does it play into it? Is it putting are the guys in the dressing room saying, God, we've got to get 5 in a row, this guy has to cut his hair? There's team talks. Get this guy to the barbers, guys. Come on. That's the last thing they say before they step out the tunnel.
Yeah, it must be, yeah.
But is he ever going to cut his hair, this guy?
5 games in a row is very hard to do, like
especially when they're not in Europe, so they don't have those European games to add in as well. So they're out of the cup, so it has to be 5 Premier League games.
Not that many teams win 5 games in a row. That is the reality.
Well, in his defence, he said before he made the bet with himself, the last time they did it was like a month before, so it wasn't like it was like some crazy thing. And now it's been over a year.
But apart from Arsenal, who has won 5 games in a row this season? No one.
I think Liverpool did at the beginning of the season, didn't they?
Maybe.
Yeah, they must have, because they won their first 5.
Yeah, so Liverpool and Arsenal, that's it.
Liverpool, Arsenal. Have City not done it? I think if you take in all competitions...
City haven't done it.
Villa did it in all competitions?
Well, City haven't. Liverpool
Did
have.
Spurs not do it at all in all comps?
Liverpool have. Spurs? Nah. Spurs haven't. Who did you ask me before?
Villa did it in all competitions, didn't they do it?
Villa did 5, yeah. Villa did do 5, and then they lost to go-ahead Eagles. So, I mean, but what I'm saying is it's not like a regular thing. It's not an easy thing to do, like win 5 games in a row.
I mean, he could easily go the whole season again without...
He could go like the whole next 2 seasons, you know what I mean? Like 5 games in a row is a hard thing to do.
I see he's putting pressure on United. He's putting pressure on United to do it.
He's putting pressure on himself.
No, I think he's loving it at the moment, this guy. He's loving it at the moment. He's getting so much attention.
So much attention that he nearly got beaten up at a Man United game a few weeks ago.
That was ridiculous. But look, in terms of draw, in terms of Forest, I mean, 4 points now away from Burnley.
Yeah.
That draw. I mean, they did gain a point technically, but still mired down at the bottom.
Yeah, look, it's always a possibility, but I do think that they'll go on a good run soon, to be honest. I do think they'll win next weekend against Leeds. I think Deitch, I wouldn't say he's the perfect manager, but that style of play, going back to a similar kind of mindset as what Nuno had, I think it will do good for them in the long term this season. So I expect them to finish around mid-table this year.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, probably right.
Next up is Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1. I went for 1-0 to Spurs. Sim went for 1-1, and this was an absolute disaster class for Tottenham Hotspur. God, it was absolutely shocking, to be honest. Not one shot, I think one shot on target throughout the game.
0.05 XG.
Yeah, that's all you need to say, 0.05 XG. It was just a horrific performance from Tottenham Hotspur, if you want to even call it that. Chelsea, they knew what it meant to play this game, and it bared out. This game should have finished 4-0 to Chelsea. It was only from a few wonder saves from Vicario that kind of saved and spared Spurs' blushes a little bit. But yeah, it was a very embarrassing night either way for Tottenham Hotspur.
Absolutely, but we are recording this after they've played Copenhagen. They have had a big win, so hopefully they've learned some lessons of how bad that Chelsea game was, because it was horrendous. Tottenham are still in 6th position after that. Amazingly, they're still above Chelsea after that defeat, despite the levels.
Same points though, isn't it?
On goal difference, yeah. But despite the levels that seem to be on the pitch between the sides. Chelsea were very impressive, and I have to say, Caicedo, what a player. People are calling him now the best midfielder in the Premier League after that game. It's hard to disagree when he's in that kind of form. He is just absolutely imperious, isn't he?
In terms of like the position he plays, I think he is the best in the Premier League, like pure number 6. Like, I think he's phenomenal. He can do it all. He's got the bite and the challenge, the amount of ground he covers, his attacking, like his ball playing ability, his finishing ability. Like, he's got it all. He really has it all, Moises Caicedo. And everyone tries to compare him with Declan Rice, but Declan Rice plays a bit of a different role in this Arsenal team now, where they've got Zubimendi being the kind of furthest one back, with Declan Rice being a kind of box-to-box player. So, in an ideal world, you probably want them two next to each other in the best Premier League team.
I don't know. Is Caicedo a pure sitter? I would say he's not box to box, but I don't know if he's a pure sitter either. I wouldn't say he's like a Makelele kind of. He he does so much. It's crazy how much he does on the pitch, isn't he? I think he kind of does box to box and six. He's got enough running power to do both. He's insane. And,
his position is a 6.
Yeah, I guess. It's nuts how good he is, Moises Caicedo, and how much he can do on and off the ball. It's astounding. And against Tottenham, he was head and shoulders above anyone else on the pitch. And obviously, he created the goal as well, whilst also being basically impossible to get past. What a player. And yeah, he's at the moment, people are crowning him the best midfielder in the league.
And rightly so. I think he's been brilliant this season. And last season as well, I thought he was
Liverpool
brilliant.
must be kicking themselves when they just couldn't get that deal over the line. Imagine if they had him in their team in a moment.
And that's exactly what they were missing for a little bit. I know they got Gravenberch now, but I think Caicedo is, the much better player in my opinion, even though Gravenberch is a very good player in his own right. So anyway, that's that. Let's move on to Liverpool now. They won 2-0 against Aston Villa. Both of us went for 2-2. And obviously, at time of recording is then the day after them beating Real Madrid as well. They beat them 1-0, but it could have been a few more than that as well. So, are Liverpool turning the corner now after a very bad run of form? Good win against an on-form Villa side, backed it up with a win against Real Madrid at Anfield. Are they turning the corner?
I think they've definitely changed a few things. If you watch their game against Madrid, they only had, I think, 39% possession. So they clearly tweaking a bit of their approach. Against Villa, they looked a lot more solid defensively, I thought, than they have done. I think it also coincides with the return of Gravenberch, who's been missing for a few weeks, and I think he's such a big miss when he's not there. Because when you look at their midfield without Gravenberch, there's just that lack of real physicality and that lack of control, I feel, when they've got in there. I think he gives them that ability to build up through the middle when he's there, like just plays on the turn, and he's so good off the ball as well. He's got that bite in the challenge, and I think without him, they don't really have a natural replacement. So I think that they've struggled to really control that area without him. So look, when you've beaten good teams like Villa and Madrid in back-to-back games, definitely signs of turning a corner, and this was a very good win. Although you got to say, what is Emi Martinez doing? The game's fairly tight, it's 0-0, and he just gives Salah a goal out of absolutely nothing. If that doesn't happen, who knows how the second half goes? But Liverpool were a better team; they deserved the win, and now they're 2 wins in a row. So putting that bad run behind them, it looks like. But have they lost too much ground?
What are they? How many points behind are they?
7.
7 points. Look, it's still early days. Who knows? But at the way Arsenal are playing, it does seem so. But you never know.
Can you see Arsenal losing 4 in a row? Doesn't have to be in a row, I guess. But
yeah, Liverpool need to be kind of perfect, don't they? Mm-hmm. That's the only problem. And the next game they go to the Etihad, so
perfect for Arsenal, who play Sunderland.
Yeah. So look, if Arsenal win this weekend, which you fully expect them to do so, one of those are going to drop points, if not both of them. So that's even more ground one of them is going to lose. So it's not happy days. It's not happy days at all. Next up is West Ham 3, Newcastle 1 in one of the surprise results of the weekend. Both of us went for Newcastle wins in 2-0. Newcastle's away form, nobody's really talking about it, but they haven't won away from home all season. And now they've gone to a West Ham side who have looked like in the past couple of weeks literally the worst team in the Premier League. And I thought West Ham were good value for those 3 points as well. Yeah,
they went 1-0 down. You're like, okay, business as usual. They're going to easily lose this game. But you know what? Credit to them. They didn't let it affect them. They kept roaring back. And Paquetá with a goal. Who gave them the lead? Was it Bowen? I can't remember.
No, Paquetá. Oh, it was a Sven Botman own goal.
Sven Botman, and the best Sven Botman own goal, and then Souček rounds it off late on, and they deserved it. And you have to say, the story then becomes Newcastle's away form, which has been absolutely atrocious, I think, so far, hasn't it? They've only scored 2 goals so far. They've drawn 3, lost 2, but they're really struggling away from home. They haven't won a game yet this season, which you don't associate that with a Newcastle side. Yeah. But yeah, signs of life for West Ham, you have to say, after what was been a very difficult start for Nuno. He needed some sort of positivity, and they absolutely got it in this game, and against a good Newcastle team. So, taking everyone by surprise, but maybe Nuno's starting to get his act together. And you know who was the star of the show? Was Freddie Potts, youngster in the centre mid. and he really had a brilliant game.
Yeah, and everyone's like, why is this Freddie Potts playing? Why is he playing? Why is he playing? Who is this Freddie Potts? And had a very good game for West Ham.
He's a new Declan Rice.
The new Declan Rice. We'll see about that, won't we? 100 million are they going to sell him for?
Maybe. One more game like that and it's 100 million.
But Newcastle are, 6 points outside the top 5, top 4? Yeah,
and 5 points off West Ham. They're closer to relegation.
Which is mad. Absolutely mad to think about, because I know they went into the season with a bit of a bad feeling selling Isaac, but Voltmader's come in, done a decent job. They've got Visser, obviously hasn't made an appearance yet because of his injuries. They've still got the likes of Gordon, Murphy's having a good season, but I think the form of Gordon has gone a bit under the radar this season because he's got no goals, no assists so far this season. And he needs to be doing a lot better, man, because he's like one of their talisman.
He also didn't have a great season last season. So that his poor form's continued. Like the season before, I think he got something like 16 goals, didn't he, in the Premier League? And was like, okay, wow, star in the making. Hasn't gone right for him the past 18 months. I don't know what's going on there with him. Seems to be struggling with something. Yeah,
but they need to pick up their away form desperately, otherwise they're going to just keep losing ground to the European spots.
And they, and they got Champions League football to contend with as well, which they're actually not doing bad in the Champions League. But it's difficult at the moment.
But their next game is another away game at Brentford, and that's a very difficult game. I can't really see them winning that. And then they got Man City to come to St James's Park, and then they got to go
winning. Yeah, you know what I mean.
And then they got to go away to Everton. So, I mean, they've got difficult games coming up. And when you're looking, like, any away game is difficult for them right now. That's the issue that they've got. So, anyway, that's Newcastle and West Ham. Man City 3, Bournemouth 1. Sim went for 2-2. I went for 2-1 to Man City, so I get a point in this one. Look, once again, it's the Haaland show. 2 goals for Haaland once again. And Bournemouth couldn't really find another. I think Bournemouth, they came to the Etihad with a bit of a plan. They high pressed. They tried to play their game. But you can't leave Haaland all that space, and that's what they did.
And he exposed them. They basically broke the high line twice. Cherky with 2 brilliant assists. You've got to say, I think come back into the team after an injury. He's looking really bright, and he had 2 great assists. The only disappointing is the 3rd goal went to a guy who hasn't scored, so they've still only got Haaland on more than a goal, and that Haaland an own goal. So that's a bit frustrating. But yeah,
wasn't that
win.
Nico O'Reilly's 2nd goal of the season?
I don't think so. His 1st goal.
Was it his 1st? I thought it was his 2nd.
Maybe it was his 2nd. I thought it was his 1st. But brilliant from him. Brilliant goal, by the way, from him. Left-footed, across the face of goal, far corner. Really nice finish.
I think what he did get, he originally got a goal, but I think it got given as an own goal.
Haaland, though, if it wasn't for him being in the form of his life, Man City would be nowhere, wouldn't they? He's just an absolute freak in front of goal there. You just know when he's going one-on-one. Only one thing's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about him being in the form of his life, and he is 13 goals in 10 games. But, I mean, this is Erling Haaland, who's like, you know what I mean? He's the best striker in the world.
They have the record of most goals after 10 Premier League games, and he, holds the top 3.
Yeah.
And that's every season he's been in the league. Every season he starts like a house on fire. So, yeah, you're right about that. If they've got any hope of getting back in the title race, it's on his shoulders at the moment. And I guess if you're an Arsenal fan, it must be quite annoying. This Haaland just won't go away. He's still there. And at the end of the day, it's only 6 points. 6 points with 10 games gone can be changed very quickly. But Pep seems in defiant mood that they can close the gap. He said
I like hearing Pep like that.
He seemed to be, last season he seemed a bit defeated. This season he seems to have a bit more belief that, all right, we have lost 3 games, but that gap can close. He seems a bit certain of it.
I think when they lost to Villa, they looked really poor, but I think that was kind of like an exception to the rule, because I actually think Man City have been pretty good this season, man. I think a lot of people saying, oh, Man City look average, they're not that good, blah, blah, blah. But I actually think they're looking pretty good this season.
Yeah, they just need to spread the goals around a bit more.
If they win their next 2 games, Liverpool at home and Newcastle away, then I think you can talk about a title race this season.
Potentially, yeah. If they show that potential of being able to win 10 games in a row like they've done before,
yeah,
that's what they got. That's what they got to show, because the Arsenal team just seem unstoppable.
The problem is that the problem that Man City have is they've done this thing before, like I mentioned before, where their first half of the season's form was a bit stodgy, and then second half of the season they just win every game. I don't think that's going to suffice this season. They're going to need to start that kind of winning run from now, because the more ground they lose to Arsenal, it's going to come insurmountable.
And that goal, the amount of Martinelli goals looking bigger and bigger, because if that goal doesn't go in, then there'd be a 3-point gap now between Arsenal and City, but now there's a 6.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Sunderland, Everton, which was Monday Night Football. It finished 1-1. Both of us went for 2-1 to Sunderland. And, Everton take the lead for a really nice goal. Who was it from? Who was that goal from? From Ndiaye. Yeah, what a goal from Ndiaye. Individual quality. I mean, he's having a great season, Iliman Ndiaye. Unfortunately for him, he does go off injured in this game as well. But I felt like towards the end of that first half, Sunderland started to take control, and the second half, it was pretty much all Sunderland, and they got the goal back, and they probably should have got a winner. I think Sunderland are proving themselves to be a really good side, man.
4th in the league. 18 points, 1 point off second, Man City. Are they in the title race? No one's talking about them. Brilliant result. I have seen a few Everton fans online growing a bit of discontent with David Moyes.
They're on bad form. Whichever way you want to spice it, they're on bad form. They've got one win in their last how many? One win. Wow. One win in their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in all comps.
And when you've got the talent now they've got going forward, that comes with a bit of expectation. I think their away form's obviously been very poor, because at home they've been all right, but away, obviously they lost to us 3-0, but away from home it's been really poor performances, and that goes to the pragmatic nature of Moyes. Sometimes he doesn't always go for it. He kind of he's happy to settle for a draw away from home, isn't he, a lot of the time?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like from the off, they were really going at Sunderland for a little bit, and it looked like, they had changed up their game plan a little bit, and they were really going for the 3 points. But after taking the lead, they just sat back and invited Sunderland onto them, and Sunderland really, Everton are lucky to get out of this with a point. They really are.
But I feel like with David Moyes, this always happens. He'll go through a period like this where they're looking really poor, and then things will start to turn, and then he'll start going on a good run of form. But he's always a bit. He's a very stable manager, but he can sometimes, with his teams, when they're not firing, they can look absolutely dreadful, and they can look like you could maybe get dragged into a relegation battle. But once things start to turn, all of a sudden they're very difficult to play against again, and I think that will probably happen at some point.
Yeah, potentially. But Sunderland, on the other hand, what a brilliant season they've had. The manager is doing such an incredible job there. The signings that they made, making such an impact. Granit Xhaka, I thought, was brilliant in this game, and their next game is Arsenal. I think they welcome Arsenal to the Stadium of Light. You talk about Sunderland title challenge. Well, if they beat Arsenal this weekend, you never know.
The owner was on Sky Sports. He said before the season they were looking at just staying up. He said now they're looking at potentially top 10. That's what they're looking at now.
They should.
He said their January business is gonna show that. He said.
Wow. Who do you reckon they're going to sign?
No idea.
Get the checkbook out. Wow. Incredible. But yeah, they've in their next 4 games, Sunderland, they got Arsenal, Bournemouth, Liverpool. Actually, wow, they've actually got a mad run now. So they play Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Bournemouth at home, Liverpool away, Man City away, and Newcastle at home.
Well, if they're still 4th after that, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah. So, interesting stuff. But, star men. Sim went for Jean-Philippe Mateta, who got a goal, so he gets 5 points for that. I went for Anthony Gordon. I thought, come on, this surely is the week that he gets a goal contribution, but wasn't to be.
Hooked at half-time.
Yeah, hooked at half-time. They had a triple sub at half-time, and unfortunately he was one of the ones to go. So we finish off this week. Sim is on 78 points. I'm on 92. We'll see you all tomorrow for our next round of predictions before the international break. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.